Councilman Desrocher will offer prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for allowing us to be able to gather again this evening, Lord, to conduct the business of the town, Lord. We ask that you be with us through all decisions that are made, Lord, not only to help grow the town, Lord, but so that it satisfies you, Lord. We just ask that you be with us in all things. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Council Credit,
Here.
Council Freeman,
Present.
Council Desrocher,
Here.
Council Williams,
I'm here.
Council Cook,
Here.
Porter Williamson is here. Mr. Mayor, are you here?
Yes, I am. And we have a full house. Everybody present, that's counted for.
There's so much.
Let's have a meeting. We'll begin with the minutes from our regular meeting. You'll notice it says November 12th.
On the agenda it does, but the minutes have the right date. But Ben's
Okay.
already pointed out
Yeah.
another. Ben was not virtual at the last meeting.
Take a moment to look over the minutes. At any time, I'll entertain a motion to accept. Or for corrections to be made. Well, hello, Chief. What are you doing out here?
And he's in uniform, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Like, now tell them.
Oh.
Look out there in shorts. He really wants something.
Oh, yeah. They are in need. Am I done yet?
I make the motion that we approve as amended. Yeah, it says I'm virtual.
Oh,
I'll second.
I'm sorry. We have a second. All right.
And it has been fixed.
I have a motion and I have a second to accept the minutes as they are. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of December the 10th, 2024, as is, within the amended part, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Department report. Holy.
You're gonna skip them.
We got our stuff up
You got a mustache. When did you start growing a mustache?
Going outside. We're asking for radars for, you guys need to plug them in. Or there in front of you.
It is.
$6,482. We don't have it in. I am the only one that's working.
To expand on a little bit, you see his report there. Very good job.
Yeah.
We appreciate the activity. Sorry there's a need for it, but we have the people to take care of it. I do get compliments on our board. I don't get but a couple of complaints and,
That's you, is.
yeah, he's here. But anyways, nah, just kidding. Just kidding. Nah. Our force, I get compliments on how helpful they can be at times. They are. But when it comes to the radar, when I asked the chief, why do we want to buy radar equipment? He's telling me that, what we have cannot be, certified.
Yeah, they come in the spring, usually in the spring of every year, we certify. Couple of them, not we certify.
And I,
We got to have an.
Well, gosh, they're 20 years old.
well, hang on, but I think sitting to my left here is a man that could get me out of a conviction of, speeding he said, when was the last checked?
I say this.
Well, here's the catch, Joel, those radars they have.
Yeah.
If they're not certified, they cannot be used.
Correct. That's what I'm
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first thing he would say. Your Honor,
Lasted,
radar wasn't any good. You want
I said, they lasted longer than I thought they would. I remember when we got those in '04. I mean, we've switched several cruisers with them now. In the cold and in the heat, years,
Mm-hmm.
they've done their job.
For an electronic to work for 20 years, that's saying something.
Well,
we could use our one.
the, now this is, one for each vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
And total price for all is,
$6,482.60.
Yep.
on
What
the
kind of
back.
warranty do these have? Do we know?
Yeah.
Bruce? I don't see any
What's that?
warranty information,
I gotta ask.
if there is any.
He just said contract is extended to state. I don't see it.
Definitely, I ain't good.
I got Harry all, I found it over here, my book's out laying there.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we get them 4 radars.
I second Doc's motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Now, it'd be a total of how many now? State that again.
Four.
Four for $6,482.60.
And that'll cover all of our cruisers now. What else?
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor of purchasing the radar equipment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Anything else?
I just want to thank the ones that, involved with talking to cops, whether collecting donations for us, helping for us, shopping with us. I think it's another successful year.
Had a good time.
Yeah.
I think you ought to rack off at least 2 guns in that money, because now, I'm just be honest with you, I missed out on the last one, I went to buy tickets, he said, we just gave that away. I said, what?
That was good success doing that. That's the first year we tried that.
No, I mean,
For this year.
good. Well, you know, when you get one.
Thank you, Phil. Be the street department next. Stephen.
Blade we purchased, which we thank you all for purchasing, it came in dead handy. He called me Friday, a day and a half or 2 days before we got all that snow.
Day before.
Yeah, it's been nonstop from the time it started to the time it quit.
I bet.
So it's been going good. We had the solder on there. Even though our red dump truck is down, I still have access to over 4 ton of salt that I deliver down here. And we use probably close to half of that in the days that we had salted and spread through the town. So the state, the only thing they come down and done was maybe Route 10 and probably in the ramps.
Yeah, that's a response, that's kind of the agreement we got.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, you guys have done a great job. I mean, I saw the state go through here, but I also see you guys out here, sidewalk, parking lot, main road, side roads, back roads, digging, plowing snow. I even saw the guys out there walking, throwing salt out, up and down through town on the sidewalk. Y'all did a great job keeping the snow.
See, the old way wouldn't let me do one thing that I did, and I'm glad it did. It enabled me to get the truck on these sidewalks, because the state had them plowed up. Forward drive, and then even in that truck, they were chunks of ice. Brought them all off, and I told the guys, we'll get that off and salt, because that's our number one concern and priority, is keeping the sidewalks and streets clear as much as possible for all these elderly or old people or disabled that's either walking, wheelchair, or whatever going on inside.
Now, the state road does do a good job.
Yes,
They do a very good job with the ramps, which, Route 10 and Crawley, they kept it open. It was a chore. And they do give, let's just say it, they give us the salt that we use at big expense.
all I gotta do is call them, and
And,
tell me come get
And
it.
that's kind of one of the agreements that we have. So we do need to plow if we expect for the,
Well, I also did the ramps for them when I had two guys call me and tell me two different ramps were bad. So I said, well, when you get through and I'll go get it. And they were, but about 10 minutes later, here comes the state right behind me plowing. They did the salt, but I did the plowing for them, and they hit what was rest and had these ramps cleared. So
and, but kudos to everyone who worked at that, keeping this snow removed. I know the state had a couple of vehicles down. They got in ditches, first one thing, then another, so.
when I was up there getting salt on that last trip, it had a 2.5, almost 3 ton on a truck. One of their trucks was totally frozen in a salt spreader. Nothing was operating in it. He had to take it out and try to put it up in the shop in Logan and get it going, but he said that's not hurt him because he needed that. And it was a small truck, so, but he was down, but he's still done what he could, and he asked us what we get and what we can get, and we worked good with him hand in hand, so.
Yeah, the state, and the town work very well hand in hand. We get a lot of help from them, and I do appreciate their help. So, we benefit.
So we try to
Residents
keep
benefit.
it down as much as possible, but everybody done well, performed well, and kept up with everything.
Now for the heartache that you, want to bring forward.
Well, I was wanting you to look at that first, but now that you mention it,
Look at it.
well, now that you mention it, I read
Not on the agenda.
I read dump truck blew a rear end in it. It's geared low. It takes a certain type of rear end. There's 2 different types for that truck. Steve Butcher has it at his shop. It's been up there for about 2 weeks now. He's asked his numerous buddies. Nobody can find a rear end for that truck or has one for that truck. Mark knew a guy that, from coming into Van, he was supposed to look at it and go look at the rear end to see if he has that same one. I don't know that he ever had got back in touch with them or what, but he hadn't said anything. But Mark went above and beyond. He went and talked to Ford for a state bid truck. The mayor has it. I am not for sure everything it is, but I do know it's a 4-wheel drive. It's almost, the truck is 2 pieces, but the bid for the truck is on state bid, and the guy even put in that the price of the bed and the installation of the bed. It's a crew cab, I think 4-wheel drive, the only one they had in stock would be available, I think, is the Dodge. He said he doesn't have the Fords or anything else, and if you're looking at anything else, you're looking at months and months out.
Will that salt spreader down there, that stainless steel, will it fit in that truck?
And in our dump truck, it would have fit in it, yes.
No, in this new
Just
truck.
one.
Yes. Yes, a bed it would be big enough where it can fit in.
But that guy never got back with Mark yet about whether he might have one.
About if he had that type of rear end for that dump. Correct. I'll find out in the morning if he ever got back in touch. with me.
Well, I will tell you this, we have made arrangements for another dump truck.
Yes, that's what I used the other day.
We've been using it, and they've been very, lenient with loaning it to us, but we need our own dump truck. That is, that's something we use to, not only haul dirt, rock, whatever we need to haul, but we do pick up trash with it. And we need the four-wheel drive to get some of these hills
And
to collect the trash.
with the way our luck went, we got finished with, I just unloaded the salt, we got it all done. We're pulling out to go get garbage, and goes the lines up a power steering pump. And a power steering pump is connected to the brakes and everything else. So, we got that fixed, that wasn't real bad. And I told Ben about it when it happened, and I took it back the next day and showed him that we fixed it, and we thanked him for the use of the truck. But that did come in handy, I mean,
It's the first time the rear end went out in it.
oh yeah. Of course, I mean, anything major like that, now I think it's a '09 model, '09 or '04, I forget which, because we had two of them. White one, which was just a regular one, and the red. And we've had a clutch put in and everything, and nothing like this. It gives us no indication that it was even going out. Guys used it one day and thought something was busted on their motor. They brought it to the shop, and I looked at the rear end and, the cover on the hogshead, which is a cover that goes over the whole gear, had a hole big enough for your pinky to go through. So we took it up Steve's, and he said, no, that rear end's gone. That's what busted the hole in it. The gears or something come loose or busted from inside.
Well, the price for a new one is $80,000.
88,870. Well, no, that's the list price. Our price is 79,900.
Mr.
A
Mayor,
little bit, it's a little bit better than 80,000. 79,900.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
That $100 counts.
And that would be with the bed put on, correct?
To my knowledge, I did ask Mark, and he did say that was with the bed and the installation of the bed. And it's, electric over hydraulic, just like the
Yes.
one truck we'd used previously.
It,
Mr.
vehicle,
Mayor,
but this vehicle is essential.
I was answering questions from Ben about dump bed or not.
Electric dump bed.
Yeah.
You can look at past 10 miles.
I'm good now. He
Okay.
answered my question.
So
Sorry, these aren't in your folder. I didn't get them until.
have we looked, anywhere for a used one? I know they're gonna be hard to come by, because I know contractors scoop them up as quick as they can.
What size other ones would we be looking at, Steve? Like an F-350 or a Silverado 3,500? Is that the size we're after?
Yeah, the 3,500 or any of the bigger ones like that, they would work because, and the gear end needs to be at the low geared rear end in it, because when we haul, I have put anywhere between minimum 2 to 6 3/4 ton, and you'd think that's not a lot.
That's a
For me
lot.
coming out of some of these places with that much on it,
Yeah.
it's a lot, but the rear end's geared that low specifically, to be able to haul that amount.
Would we be able to take the dump bed off the current one and put it on?
No, you're not advisable, because that dump bed is rust.
It's shot.
We've already patched the inside of the bed several times with little pieces of metal and everything, so the bed itself is shot.
Now, yeah, you know, I'm asking you,
Yeah, really.
that's a lot of money.
Right? We can unearmark our money through ARPA and probably do that, because that's necessary for the infrastructure operation of the town.
What I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, I can very easily say that. And this was going, by the end of the year, so I would, undo what we've done, and because it's necessary, we need it. And if you get something now, the key word is now. Availability.
Right.
That's the point, yeah. It's not something we can wait 2 or 3
I
months.
need something today.
Yeah.
And leasing it, you can't do that, that's too expensive.
The F-150 also did very well with hauling salt. We hauled for this last snowstorm that we had, we hauled a total of a little over 2 tons in the salt spreader. So I do spray the bed of that truck out, the tailgate of the truck out after we get through using it in the evening. And then I'll park it inside to get that out, but it's kept clean as we can until we get the salt spreader back out.
But you can't fit the big stainless steel one in the back of the F-150, can you?
No,
No.
It won't haul it.
No.
correct.
Yeah. Just making sure, let's make that clear.
Yeah, correct.
You think it's a good move, Jim?
I don't think you're gonna find a rear end, and if it is, I don't know how cheap it's gonna be an expensive fix.
And
That's
what-
why I asked how, if it's the first time, because I'm not mechanically inclined, but I had a Jeep once, so when, my rear end went out and never got it fixed, it was an ongoing
Mhm.
problem after that, yeah,
When it starts breaking down,
yes.
just like my body, one thing goes and something else.
It's actually true.
If you told me it was 19, then I'd say it's worth, not something that old, that, I don't think you have a choice. It's either you pay cash using what you do or get a lease, and I'd probably pay cash, because I want to spend the ARPA.
I don't want to lease, I don't want to.
No lease.
Finance.
I'd rather spend the ARPA money, because if push were to come to shove somewhere down the road, we needed to have additional funds, we still have the equipment, and go back to a lease if we need it. So spend it now, get it now. And
I make a motion, we do that.
I'll second.
Okay, go with me too.
We have a motion, we have a second on purchasing this truck for roughly $80,000.
And part of George's motion is we had money already set aside for fixtures out of ARPA. We're undoing that, and we're obligating the ARPA funds for this project.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay,
That's what he said. I heard him.
That was your suggestion, he was going along with it, yes.
Very
Well,
much
that's
so.
what I thought.
And that was something I wanted to talk with you about later, about some of the ARPA funds that we're not going to be able to use that we designated out. Because it's coming time to do something. Yeah.
Well, you spend 80 grand of it, and then we are still doing the dollar. We'll use a lot of that this year.
Good deal.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? There you have it.
All right,
Let's get it.
I was in Mark, get over the guy in the morning.
Charles Ellis? Yeah.
you two trouble, Steve. I knew when I saw Alan come in with papers, but good job. Whew. Steve ought to be quiet about it. Heard me talk about Alan, he didn't say a word, he just sit there. Yeah. Whew.
I didn't even think Alan was going to show.
Sorry, Alan, I've never seen you government station downstairs, state station, all right. Woo.
All right, then, anything else, Steve?
No, everything else is good, everything's going,
Once again, I want to commend you all on, coming out even on the weekends, holidays, things of that nature. Y'all done very well for the residents of the town. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on into the fire department. You have the report here in front of you. Do you have any questions on my, pass on to Chief Meadows?
No chance of getting Chief Meadows or Deputy Chief Harry out here for actually talk to us about things?
Yeah, because they wouldn't answer Steve's, questions that I had last month about getting the bay door fixed or the building fixed. So he could not get a reply back from either one of those. Can we make a formal request that they attend our next meeting?
I will get in touch with Meadows. See what I get a report from, because, way they work,
I understand. I mean, we all have jobs, but they have that responsibility also.
Somebody could represent.
They could answer Steve's questions and we've been
Right.
good.
I'll get in touch with you. Any other questions there about it? You can see they do have expenses. If I'm not mistaken, Steve, are they not getting ready to purchase some additional gear?
Excuse me?
They're getting ready to purchase new gear. Something
They
about a
have been
$10,000 grant,
purchasing
they're gonna purchase new gear with it.
Yes, they have been purchasing a few sets and they're gonna go ahead and get some more, yes.
Yeah. That's another group we have that they respond 24/7. They do a good job.
They do a good job.
They even have the 911 tower. You can see that
Mhm.
how well they do with their response. When it comes to code enforcement then, any other questions about the fire department? Moving on to code enforcement. Not had anything to report. We have a couple of businesses coming in, and they have their permits and they are doing, they're bringing things up to code. When it comes to, is there any questions about the code enforcement? I know he's working right now. Moving to the water department did not meet on Thursdays. That was a day of mourning. They did a phone, they just called people up on the phone, and there really wasn't any business to conduct. We've had a couple of leaks. Had one big one over in Shelton Smith.
One in front of my house.
Huh?
Had one in front of my house.
Yeah.
It was the same one we had. I just got it patched. Just got it patched. It leaked in the same place.
I was driving through there and I saw that and I said, no, it ain't right. No, come on.
I know.
I got in touch with Ben. Ben said, oh, no, not again. So,
Yep, same exact place.
the one over Shelton Smithville, I'm driving through there and I looked and I said, oh, my goodness. They're gonna be stopping that pond, that over there with traps. It was so much water. Yeah. That was a good one. Thankfully, it wasn't all that cold and it wasn't snowing, it wasn't raining. So they got that done in one day.
Are they getting ready to do a bore over the Dalton property for that water project?
Anything else about the water department? Come down to Miss Bell now, Tracy Vickers.
I completed the PCAR training on December the 9th. Mandy Thompson was here on December the 18th. She is the Attorney General representative. I had 12 of the seniors that participated in the Christmas parade. They did not have meals delivered on the 26th, and Shade Cloud had a Christmas party for them and then took them to Boston Park. David Perry with Steam Master Cleaners to keep up and wax the floor on Saturday, December the 28th. He's been returned every 3 months for maintenance, and that's on both sides, taking care of the town side and the side. I did purchase the felt furniture protectors, and those are on the table leg and the chair leg. And we have pretty much been on standby with Logan County Office of Emergency Management as a warming station for Logan County since January the 3rd. There's 3 other facilities. I've got 2, but there's 3 other facilities in Logan County. And due to weather, West Virginia's choice was, they were unable to be here the 6th through the 9th. And Pride was unable to provide meals the 6th and the 2nd.
Any questions about the Vickers Center? Everybody but Harry and Ben heard it before. A few things that are going on. Thank you, Stacy. If you'll notice, Philip included the financial report for the Vickerson. When it comes to beautification and fair, where'd Steve go? He slipped out on me. I'll call him back. He won't answer mine. The only, maybe Stacy can tell us the next thing going on, spring clean.
Franklin,
Franklin.
Sally, yeah, we decided on a date for that, worked around a few things that's going on here, so she's wanting to do sprinkling here, March the 9th. There's some flyers that's over there on the top of that, and then I'm gonna create an event for her, on Facebook, that way it can be advertised that way, I know we get a lot of response, to events like that. And then, she's got her flyer, she's got, the vendor registration, and she's already sent like a bunch of emails. She had people that was contacting her about it. And then, let's see. Is it on down where we were gonna talk about is that the same thing about the beautification and stuff? Is that on down? Like a meeting?
The board,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
well, that was gonna be our final reading of it tonight. But
Okay. Then I think, trying to think if there was anything else that went on. I know there was some new stuff that was purchased, for Christmas decorations for next year. Barb was able to find some stuff at Lowe's, that was able to be purchased for quite a bit of a discount, from Lowe's, and that stuff will all be able to be added to everything for next year.
I think some of that fell through.
Yeah, she told me today, though, I think what was here, and there was quite a bit that was here already.
Yeah.
The rest of it, which I think, I mean, for what was here, I think it's still.
Somebody went on vacation, somebody wasn't there.
Yeah, there was supposed to be, initially, there was supposed to be more.
Yeah.
Decorations that were included, but there, I mean, there was a mix-up, miscommunication, somebody was going on vacation, and somebody covered, so the rest of it didn't work out that way. But we did get quite a bit, they were delivered here, and then the street department guys, they came and saw all of us, and they put them down at the garage.
What I was gonna talk about was the Christmas decorations that are still up. I think the weather has prohibited them from taking those down.
I would figure.
Yeah.
And the way the
That's why I
temperatures are
wanted to-
gonna continue to be this coming week, I mean, my stuff's still up.
I know, I thought, they go by there and I say, Brookie must have got something nice, she's still
I
celebrating.
turned them off. I always leave mine up to after the 6th.
I can get some plugged, at midnight on the first.
Like, and you reach him till 12 days after he's born, I mean, you know, that's why I keep mine up till then. I turned them off today.
All right, one of my favorite parts now will be the financials, Mr. Ballot.
Well, we spent some money already just tonight, so I will say our financials next go around may not be as positive. There's one thing I want to draw your attention to on page 1 of the balance sheet. We have hotel motel account. That's where we're putting all the money from the two, hotel motels. We have available now 40 grand in those accounts, because I think today you had a check for 20 grand to be made out to the, Hatfield McCoy. Well, the balance is what's left over is there. So when I'm hearing what we're buying, we may be able to reimburse the general fund for the Christmas donation, things of that nature that beautifies the city, can be paid out of the hotel motel fund.
that's why we started putting it in its own account.
Yeah, it's there, but we gotta get it out. How do I get it out? Either because
Yeah.
you know, my only,
What's the reason why we take it out? We gotta have a reason.
Right.
the reason is we're reimbursing the general for expenses
Right.
that we're for promoting, Chatfield.
It's just we don't write checks out of the hotel motel fund, so either
Oh,
Eileen
we
has to put
can.
it out or, well, I guess
We
we
can.
can, but.
But you know how my Elaine is.
Right,
She gets a bill, she writes a check.
right.
she doesn't, oh, that looks like that's advertising. That's not what crosses her desk.
Yeah.
So if we, if we know.
Then either
that-
Elaine or me have to move funds around.
Yeah, so, or we'll actually write a check. We can look at the receipts and then we'll say reimbursing
Mhm.
all these checks out of hotel motels, putting it back into the general fund. So that means we have 40 grand. Pays hell, definitely will be able to pay all our expenses for the Apple Butter Festival this coming year. And a lot of the expenses can be paid out of that. That's why we have it there. Cash wise, again, we transferred the money after the first of the year to show a positive cash balance. Year to date, that's our second page, we're operating only at a slight loss at $6 grand. December is always our bad revenue month. Very little gets paid. The property tax check isn't very big. The collections aren't, the only collections that were really good were the garbage. The rest of it, we're not gonna get the home rule money till this month. And that's where we'll be reaping the reward of Christmas. And so all the home deliveries in the town of Chapmanville will reap our percentage when we get the deposits this month. And even with that and the money we spent on buying equipment and things for the town, we're still operating only at a loss of $6,000. We estimated we're going to spend over 200,000 of our ARPA money. $6,000 is not much. I'm grateful again that we are spending the ARPA money. That's what it's there for, and that's what I'm glad I appreciate you all doing that. That helps us. And then going forward, there's a couple, we need to start planning for our budgets. And part of that is we just got a renewal update on our PEIA.
How bad was that?
No, he didn't tell me, but I knew it was bad. I know the state's share was 20%. So I don't know what our agency is, but it's not good. Because the legislature has to put an additional money aside to fund the deficit. They're passing it all on to all the employers. Well, what was the percentage? I hadn't seen, all I know there was 20% on it's not cheap.
14 was the female.
Okay.
Do what?
It was one, the state share is 20. and
They had
That's
It'll probably be more than that though.
but initially they had talked about, what they had talked about was municipalities such as, be around 14%. But then you get this email says, oh, it's a whopping 20%, 14%. I don't even want to see that. But 20% is easy one.
Yeah. Well, that's been, they're basically charging, we're charging all the state agencies. We just have to plan for that. Our average, bill, it's less than 10 grand, so we're talking an increase of probably $1,700. That doesn't sound like, well, we can absorb it while we're absorbing other things. So when we look at that, what are we going to do going into our budget? That's just something in the back of our mind. We know it's coming. And every agency that has PEI has the same problem. It's not unique to us. Every one of my clients has PEI because I remember this 20 years ago.
And along with the increase to us, it's my understanding that they increased the deductibles to the individual. Am I correct?
Well, what PEI has done though is we have options to have different deductibles. Before we had to have one size fit all. We have a group, our deductible is blank, and this is what we charge for this deductible blank. We may look at the option to say the employee can have options and, okay, we have a high dollar deductible, lower dollar deductible. That's one of the things we'll research before we come to the budget. Again, we as a town want to provide the greatest benefits, bang for our buck for our employees, but we want them invested in this too. And again, if we can find ways to save money, give money back to our employees, we'll do that. So that's one of the things we want to look at doing, because they did offer different deductibles, different plans, and you can allow employees to choose. And so that's one of the things we look at. We modify the increase based on, yeah, we want a $1,500 deductible, fine, our premium is this, but it's 3,000, the premium goes down. And again, if you have a healthy family and and we incentivize that to our employees, no big deal. And that's part of the things we have to look at. How do we do what we do and let our employees choose? They can't choose out of retirement. Once we have it, we have it. But they can choose what kind of coverage they would prefer on their insurance.
Do we have to use BEI?
You don't, but there's a problem, get out. They still will charge you that second fee for retirement benefits, which I don't understand how come we do that. The answer is, yeah, you can, but it's not just changing insurance carriers. There's a 2 or 3 more hoops, and B, I'm not sure without that it's any better. Because the PI has been supplemented by the state, and it's artificially held the costs down. You buy the same insurance in the market, you'd have been paying a whole lot more than what we were paying. Just, you sell insurance. Health insurance there's no where to go if you have a good carrier to get a cheaper product. I mean, let's look at it. We will look at it. But then, again, our research before we go to the budget is what's out there, what can the employees, how can we save money? And we may do that. Well, we will do that. We have no choice.
We don't have a choice.
Did we get a reimbursement from the insurance company that we had been covering all of our properties? Where we switched to the other one?
Haven't got it yet, George. I know it's coming though.
It will come. I'm not even gonna say checks in the mail, but it will come.
They have to, they have to.
Insurance just hate giving money back.
Somebody's throwing interest on that. I mean, I'm just saying.
It's a little bit different, the state board of risk, and A, it's a state agency, B, they're happy to get rid of us.
Yeah.
It's different, well, I may not want to refund it because I want to keep you. State board of risk wants to get rid of everybody except what they want. And we're not in what they, granted, we're a good employer in what we do because we had very minimal claims, but they don't want to insure us. They just don't.
But they're lost because of the percentage of more money that they were going to charge us compared to what we're getting now was about 50%. For better coverage, our coverage.
I agreed, but they didn't care, because again, the way they work is different than most insurance carriers.
Most insurance companies, they want to insure you, but they don't want
Any claims.
They don't want the risk.
Right.
And that's what's wrong with the risk involved.
So answering the question, we have resources to do. All I look at is what's in our home rule money. We have 100,000 in the savings account, so we got in our back pocket 270. And if really gets bad, we have 270 we can spend. The other stuff we have to spend, the ARPA we have to spend. We're going to find a way to spend the opioid money. We'll talk to the budget when I'm seeing other areas, how they're spending their opioid money. Someday we may get more. I'll believe it when I see it. So I need to know how I can spend it. And then again, most areas are spending it. Don't tell them over there.
No.
They're spending it on police. But we're not gonna tell
Don't
them.
even smile over it, Alan.
I got a letter from Morrissey's office. Another 5,000's coming.
I saw that same letter.
Haven't seen the check.
Yeah, except that was for Lipitor.
Huh?
That was for Lipitor.
Yeah, how they slid through, I don't know.
How are we injured by not filling Lipitor? Well, we're injured
Well,
by
you
having
know,
drugs, but it's Lipitor.
Somehow or another, it's class action and we're included.
Mhm.
Oh, you want to give it to me, I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's blanket for everybody. It's $5,000 for everybody.
Whatever we want to do with it.
Yeah.
It's needed dispersed.
It'll help buy that radar equipment.
There you go.
No, he
Here,
said
Alan,
not to
over there,
pay
what are we
for
gonna spend that on?
He's supposed to unofficially, generate enough revenue to pay for the radar, even though he's not allowed to be told that.
Well, shoot, all they have to do is sit at Freeman's Funeral Home during the day and they could pay for that in a week.
Yep.
You know it.
Oh, I know.
All right. Anything else for, Mr. Ballard?
Nothing for Jeff, but for the council there, I know I sent you all an email about it, February 11th. There is a audit workshop from the state auditor's office in South Charleston. I'll be going if anybody wants to go with me.
I don't hear any takers.
Oh, yeah, well, let's see what.
Yeah.
What's it for now, Phil? I remember seeing that email and
It's
reading it.
February 11th in South Charleston. Then there's a late one in Beckley are the two closest. One in South Charleston is, I think, 8 o'clock to 11:30 a.m. And then the one in Beckley is like 5:30 to 8 in the evening.
Well, that means I get to stay.
What was that? What kind of a?
State auditor's, budget workshop.
The top has changed, the state auditor. I'm gonna miss, Mr. McCuskey.
Oh, yeah.
He was super.
You know, it's the same day as our meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Philip has nothing better to do for me. I mean,
Oh, no, I do, but I usually take the day from work for the meetings anyway to try to get everything ready, so. Just make sure I get a little bit done beforehand. And then answer phone calls all day anyway.
But I said, I know this third in command retired, so I'm curious what's gonna happen at their office. John's gone and Jeff Wainwright, I do well, and he's gone, he's retired. Okay. Coming down the pipe.
We'll find out.
Anything else?
I'd like to thank you, Jeff, for your work that you do for our town. I do an excellent job.
I appreciate it, of course.
And we
It's
appreciate
my
it.
town too.
He's very knowledgeable. He will answer.
I value your opinion and your advice.
Most definitely. All right. Next item. Any addresses from a citizen?
Oh, wait a minute.
I've
Did
not
we
heard
ever
that.
hear anything from, I'm sorry, from the one business that is not paying, home tax?
They are paying now.
Oh, they are paying now? Oh, good. After they were contacted. And that's when we had turned over to the fraud unit?
Well, the audit, they would have gotten caught in the audit anyway, so that's fine. And the municipal league would have gladly taken that on.
When I called him, yes, well, that's up to you, Mayor. It's okay. But I don't know what the back pay, we don't get a list of who pays
No,
what.
we don't.
We don't get anything like that, we just get a check.
Mhm.
But
But that's why it keeps growing. When you look at your home rule, what we estimated was low, because we know it's going to grow. And every time and what normally happens when they find a contractor who should have been paying sales tax, they said that, oh, by the way, you're doing work at Chapmanville too.
Yeah.
Or, people that are wholesalers delivering to town and country, and they are charging sales tax. That's when they find one, they have to pay sales tax everywhere. And that's where we're gonna see, it'll still grow just from that.
thank you. Did anybody find out that?
No.
Their old business, camping ordinance, how are we progressing there?
It's done. I don't, should have printed it out, but I had a church meeting. I just got back here right before. I can email that around. I can do it right now. Everybody can look at it and we should be on track. Go ahead and do a reading next time and then we can update it from there.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to table the camping ordinance until the next meeting.
I second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Then next item will be Joe White on policy consulting. I didn't hear back from him, but he did. And he did send us some things. And, but the one policy thing he had was for the police and,
He sent us a couple of samples. The police one for us, it was just some, cookie cutter. In general, this is something like what I would do. He did not look at our police, policies for that. I was actually gonna suggest we take a look at that in the back room here later. He also sent us a sample that he had done for a local business. So we could see what he had done, and I had emailed you all something else that he had done. I thought it was neat, but I don't know that we necessarily need it. He generated some AI videos of these, policies. So there's a guy, he's talking about them, use them for kind of a training purpose. A little bit neat. At the same time, it would be an additional cost to things. And at the end of the day, as someone who's signed policy papers a lot in recent days because of new jobs, then, you kind of skim through them no matter what. You make sure you get the gist and then you sign it at the end of the day. So as long as we get our signatures from everybody saying we understand, that's the big part. But Joe did talk to me the other day. He talked to me while he sent that out. He was still on the $250 per month. He wants us to kind of keep him on retainer if we can. He was figuring that would work about 10 hours per month approximately, and then anything over that would be small fee. That was his pitch to me. He said he wanted to be here tonight, but he had family obligations he had to attend to.
I talked to him too. He said the same, I mean, basically the same thing. He did do a lot of that in the state police. He's got a handle on, pretty good handle on, policy and safety issues, especially police and safety issues, especially. So, I don't know how outdated ours are. Feel may not.
Well, we've got 5 little, bullet points on ours and for this, policy that he worked up for us, and this one's 3 pages, so we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Let everybody see what we got and what he gave us and see what everybody thinks about it.
if I'm not mistaken, what we had, did you not tell me it came from Boone County?
Yeah.
Came from Boone.
So with all that, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for that one, that we table Joe White and Consulting Services until the next meeting. If Mr. White can end, then
Have a motion to table?
I'll second.
Very knowledgeable.
And I've emailed that camping ban around to everyone, so they'll have a
great.
copy. They can look at it and make any changes.
You seconded it, didn't you?
And with
You know,
that,
it's titled agenda because I just replied all to your. Okay.
Okay.
So. Sorry.
go ahead. All right. Okay. We've been here almost an hour. Before we get into, Mr. Williamson, would you all like to take at least a 5-minute break if you can?
Yep.
Oh, we didn't have all in favor. We didn't vote on it, did we?
What's
We just
that?
had a first and a second on the table policy.
Oh, all
Thank you,
those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Now I'll make a motion that we have a 10-minute recess, Mr. Mayor.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Let's just start using it,
Okay. I've got this a little bit before Christmas. It's a little cheap one. I've never used one before. I'm like, I'm gonna try it. It's not bad. I like it.
I like it.
Press and hold the mute button there, Steve. The cancel microphone on top. Press and hold it till it turns green.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Here, next thing.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we return from recess.
I second it.
Have a motion to return, have a second. Show us back in at 20:07. All those in favor?
Aye.
8:07.
I don't know, I know what you're saying.
All right. Philip, show's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, just a moment. Oh, what do we have? It is Chapter 18, Water Sewage Ordinance Updates, first reading. Finally, I got this in the book for y'all. I have changed nothing of note in chapter 18. This is so far just me putting everything together for what we currently have. If you all want to take it home, read through it, see what all we got, see if there's any changes you want to make. It does get very deep into the weeds. Some changes, there's one on page 11. Although I haven't changed that. It needs to be changed. They have on the very top, the above rates are subject to a 25-cent per 1,000 gallons sold for the purpose of funding an operation and maintenance savings account as mandated by Senate Bill 234. That number can get reused year after year after year. So that's going to be replaced with, or needs to be replaced with a state code, chapter, section, article, etc. So we know actually what I'm talking about. And I do have that information from can't remember. Her name went blank. Lana. So there are some things in here that need to be changed. I have not changed things yet. Read through it. This will, when we get to second reading, we'll actually make some changes with this. Mr. Mayor, first I'd like to make a motion to read this by title only.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of reading by title only, chapter 18.
Aye.
So, aye.
Title of this would be Update to Chapter 18, Waterworks Sewer Systems, Chapmanville Ordinance.
All right, all those in favor?
This is for first passage. Oh no, did we vote for the title? What we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I heard you talking.
Yeah. Okay. So now, if I could get a motion and second for first reading.
Make a motion.
With the changes.
I second it.
There are no changes yet.
Well-
This should just be,
The only changes you have is like the payment for board members.
that's true. I did update those to what they
It's
currently
updated.
are. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, those
Yeah.
updates. We'll call them updates.
Yeah, and they should be.
They should be. And-
So there are some things like that. I made them current.
And then the one on page 11. Senate Bill 234.
I think I changed the very last thing here too. There was something about supplemental resolutions. And then I might have, no, I think that was in there already. Fairly sure. I didn't underline it, so it probably was.
Okay, with that understanding, go ahead now.
Right. If anybody wants to make a motion for a first reading with the current changes,
I'll make that motion with the current changes.
We
I'll
have a
second
motion.
that.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And we didn't do IT update. You can go back.
I'll go back to IT updates. Not a whole lot, but we have had some movement on certain things, so. Excuse me.
Alcohol beverages, second reading.
Alcoholic beverages, second reading. That one is behind chapter 7. Sorry, I got those out of order.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Rob did get back with me, helped me out on a couple things. We've got some possible changes on the page after chapter 3. So the first one, change I'd like to make is striking section 1 entirely. I guess I should put Article 1, Section 1. Article 1, Section 1 is a tax on purchase at retail of intoxicating liquors. That is currently handled through the state sales tax department. So they charge a 5% tax and send us a check quarterly for everything within the city limits and within a mile of the city. So since we do not have to worry about collecting a tax at purchase, the state's doing it for us. I would like to get a motion to strike Article 1, Section 1.
I'm not gonna actually strike Article 1, Section 1.
Second,
All right, we have a motion to strike. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
The second change, and we can see if we want to do any of these individually or as a group, as far as I'm concerned with the rest of them. Excuse me. Number 2 is change Michi's West Virginia code, et cetera, to state code of West Virginia in all instances. I think the only example of that is in Article 2, Section 1 at this point. It says, for the purpose of this article, any word or term used in this article shall have the same meaning as given to such word term under the definitions contained in Chapter 60, Michi's West Virginia Code, 1961, known as the Liquor Control Act. We don't need all that. Just make it Chapter 60 of the West Virginia State Code.
I'll make that motion.
So there's that one. Let's see how many we can get done at one time. Section 3C, add without authorization under the law of the state. That was a suggestion from Rob. So Section 3C is purchase, possession, manufacture, sell, adulteration, refilling containers, violation of orders, etc. of State Liquor Control Commissioner. A person shall not, number C, unlawfully own, operate, or maintain a plant for the manufacture of distilled spirits, or aid or abet in the operation or maintenance of such plant.
No steals within.
And then these part after it would be without authorization under the law of the state, and the purpose for that is such as microbreweries and, but if it already says unlawfully, that was my question with it.
Yeah, what I was trying to do, a couple of things, is trying to get all the wording consistent, because some of them said without.
That's my last one down. the
Oh,
bottom
okay,
there.
all right, my bad, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So since it says unlawfully own, operate, do we really need the extra?
Well, yeah.
Because then you're
Well, the reason-
lawfully operating these other things.
I understand, but just because, so you could have just because it's legal in the state doesn't mean the city can't make it illegal, or the town. And so that's why I was saying, if we're going to have I guess if we're saying if it's legal through the state of West Virginia, we're going to say it's legal within the municipality. And that's why I said, without authorization under state law.
Unless the municipality doesn't wish to make it legal for certain things, but the extra wording would essentially just keep it the same as it
Yeah, it's state.
has been. Whatever the state wants,
So I guess if it says unlawfully owned, I guess as long as it's lawful under the state, if we're saying it's going to be lawful under the municipality. Right.
that would be my understanding of it.
All right, that's fine.
Well, if they change it, we don't agree.
Well, we can always come back and work on it then.
Yeah.
You want to make Chattanooga a dry city?
Yeah.
No,
I make a motion that we do just agree, with these changes.
With all the changes?
Yes, all the changes.
say that.
And then the last one, Phil pointed out, or I was expressing, just for consistency, have everything the same, either without authorization or except as permitted or other than permitted, so.
Yeah, because as you go down through there, it's different words that all mean the same stuff.
Yeah, whatever Phil thinks is most concise.
A consistent verbiage.
Yeah.
Consistent.
So we got George making a motion to approve 2 through 4 of the changes. All the nice little grammatical things. We have a second.
I second it.
Have a motion. Have a second. Any further discussion on chapter 3, the possible change? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
Excuse me.
Chapter 7, human rights.
Chapter 7, Human Rights Commission, which is now well, that shouldn't be struck out. That should actually be what it is. I'll change that one. The signed version. Chapter 7, Chapmanville Events and Beautification Board, as we've been discussing with it. I just removed all the language from the original ordinance because we're getting rid of it anyway. If it doesn't pass, then that's fine. It's all still back there one way or the other. So the original language been struck. Chapter 7, Chapmanville Events and Beautification Board. Changes that were made was if the board cannot come to an agreement about meeting dates and times, town event coordinator Tracy Vickers, community center director, will have authority to determine meeting date and let the other members know at least a week in advance. That is at the very, very end, right above first reading. Is that the only thing? I want to say it was. Oh, no, the family. I also changed the family to who could be appointed to the citizens, or I should have. Let me make sure here.
How you've got this listed?
Which one?
It's under I.
Members, town event, town council members. Okay. Chapmanville residents. I actually do need to fix that one as well, because I thought I did that, but I did not. But we approved a change at the last meeting of the only persons whose immediate family could not serve on the board as a resident appointee was the member who was appointed's immediate family. We changed that language, and that didn't make it into this, but I will change that if you all want to approve it, and we can still sign it tonight and get it all.
Is the title going to be what? Because both of these have strike throughs.
The title's going to be the Events and Beautification Board.
Events and Beauty.
Yeah.
And what he's talking about right now.
Yeah, I got Yeah.
You all understand what I'm going with there?
Mhm.
So if you all want to make a motion for a third reading and passage with the understanding that those things will be changed.
I make the motion that we pass this with the changes.
I'll second
All right, we have a motion, we have a second, a passage with changes noted.
Passage with previously approved changes.
There you go.
Weren't just making things up here at the last minute. It just didn't make it into the,
Well, that's, yeah,
yeah,
they were discussed at the last meeting.
right.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Do the IT updates?
Yes, sir. I can fix that first page here later.
Yeah.
Of course, not a whole lot has happened. We all know how businesses start working around Christmas and New Year's, and stuff don't really work until afterwards. We do have Chapmanville, West Virginia.gov right now. That was a big surprise to me. It happened right around Christmas. We have it. We also got a DNS account, which was a free thing. So we are ready to point it towards the website. I have filled out a questionnaire about what we want with the website. Again, hopefully it will stick this time. I know we were asking about emails at the previous meeting. The contract that was signed does not have anything about we will cover a certain amount of emails. That wasn't included in it. I asked for, a general price, something to try to give you all tonight. He said the roundabout price for an email is going to be around, I think it was $1,000 a year. $1,000 a year per email. The reason for that is
Yeah.
because his goes through Microsoft. So with that comes, if, like the girls in the office, if each of them have one, that comes with Windows license, that comes with Microsoft Office, that comes with so much storage, that comes with their enterprise solutions.
We're not
But
talking
not
about.
everybody has to have that.
Right, we're not talking about individuals here.
And
We're
if we
talking
want,
about the clerks, the town.
that'll be everybody, that would be for approximately everybody if we all decided to have a town email address. I think that one might be a little bit pricey, I don't know, we'll see what he says, but that was what he got back to me like right before the meeting today. He sent me something saying it's gonna be about that much is what he would figure. So we'll explore, see what we got, come back to something more final for you all at the next meeting.
Okay.
But I was hoping that everybody could have one, but if it's going to be that kind of cost, it's probably just going to be, full-time employees. And we'll see who else wants to have one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And if it comes to, it's gonna come with all that, besides just actually the email address,
right.
then how many people that's gonna be getting an email address is gonna need any of that?
Well,
Microsoft 360.
and some people get that, some people don't. It's on a case-by-case basis. He
Right.
said that he'd have to actually go in and put down, okay, this person has this, therefore they need all this person doesn't need this.
So theirs wouldn't be 1,000. Theirs would be less than 1,000.
Right, and he said some people would be more, some people would be less, depending on what all was needed for the licenses.
Do you go through this?
So-
with your phone? Anything?
Mine's through, I've got a cloud-based server, and it's through, I get Microsoft, it's through Microsoft.
Hmm.
And after 14 years in business, I finally had to start, I had to go through and archive a bunch of stuff. So it has I've gotten, and I get hundreds of emails a day.
Right,
I mean, I delete a bunch of crap that's just crap, but
yeah, we're not
But I have
looking at
to
some
keep-
little free storage
but I have
when we
to
start
keep
paying
one.
for this stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I pay, for cloud-based service, but it's, so I can operate anywhere, but it.
Right.
But I pay about $700 some dollars a month.
But she
Do
requires
they
a lot
not,
of storage.
do they not already have like programs here and for that?
No.
It's got, oh, we don't. have-
Licenses have run out, so they're using free versions of things.
Oh, okay.
I think. for-
That's,
Yeah.
that gets expensive.
Yeah, when we start looking at what all is needed for security and I hate to say it, email is the thing you gotta worry about the most. It's not that credit card swiper. It's email. It's what phishing and spam comes through that might accidentally get clicked on or so it's not cheap.
They're gonna be very strict with ours.
Hmm.
Mhm, very.
It's the cost of doing business.
It's a cost of doing business.
It's the cost of, security.
Mhm. Not saying that we can't get something else, but
This is not the version where you go to, wherever and buy that little disc. It's not a disc anymore.
nope.
Nope.
No, it just used to be a disc.
You don't even
know?
own discs anymore. You
Yeah.
just kind of rent the right to see something online.
Yeah. I still have the old Microsoft disc. That's how old I am. Anyway,
Mhm.
you just purchase it, you go home and download it. Then you get, you've already paid for it and 11 months later, it's about to run out. You need to pay this now.
Mhm.
So.
Well, that's all I've got so far. They did make a trip down here, last week. They made sure we had antivirus on stuff,
Mhm.
said hi to the girls, made sure they installed the, remote stuff. So if there was a problem with a computer, they could just log in remotely and check things out and fix things. So they're still coming down. They're still working. It's just getting all this stuff at one time it's a lot.
How about the web page itself?
I'm working on that. Like I said, I've submitted a questionnaire for a second time, and that questionnaire had things like, what kind of pages are you looking for? Yeah, it asked organizational questions and stuff like that, you know, what's your main goal with the web page, stuff that I didn't really feel was necessarily relevant to an informational web page, because that's all we're really gonna have. But, you know, I did the best I could with it, and but like I said, this is also the second time I filled it out. First time it must have got lost in the pile, and so we'll see what happens this time. And if we don't have some movement on it, then we might have a talk and see what options are available to us. Anything else on? All I got on that, unless anybody has any questions.
You're very thorough.
That's right.
Moving right along now, then we're going to come to, Mr. Desrocher, comprehensive plan.
I kind of want to talk about what we discussed last month. And, I mean, I know we voted to table, but there was discussion about pricing structures and whatnot. I went to the meeting that Logan had concerning their comprehensive plan, and people came in and out all day with ideas, put them on poster boards. And from what I can see, Logan is rather successful with their comprehensive plan. I know they paid a pretty penny, but they had a pretty penny to spend. They have a Walmart, they have a Lowe's, they have money generating businesses. But a comprehensive plan in my thought is something for the future of our town. Not just right now, it's 20 years down the road. It's an investment in the town. And if I remember correctly, the lady that came to speak to us from Cincinnati even said that she'd be willing to give us a discount because she would use some of the verbiage structure from Logan's, and the fact that she may even wrap part of the man, like, since she's down here, it's going to be cheaper. But I also know that there are other options out there from WVU and Marshall and whatnot. They're bare bones, and they don't really provide forward thinking. There's no action pieces in it. To me, it hurt to say, hey, we can't do this, price is too high. When we spent $86,000 this meeting for a truck and new stuff for the police department. If you look at $50,000 every 20 years, $2,500 a year. And with hope, the investment that we put in the town for the future brings in businesses and can pay for this. I've been on council for 10 years, and it's Chapmanville. We've grown by 3 properties in the 10 years that I've been on. Businesses come, businesses go, but we're still kind of the same. As a kid, and Mom could probably attest to a lot of the time that I spent on the computer playing SimCity. Love it. You build giant cities. I know I can't do that. I know we can't do that here. But we need to grow. Somebody once told me, if you ain't growing, you're dying. We got to grow. I just don't like the idea of not doing something because of the cost. Like I said, $50,000, which I think that's what that lady quoted to us. Over 20 years, $2,500 a year. But that's just my thoughts. All I really have.
Well, we have grown, and we are growing. And we've been shooting from the hip on a number of things. I agree. I think the one thing that was talked about when it came to a comprehensive plan was zoning. The way our town is laid out, especially with the small plots of land. Zoning would be a hard thing. So, but we would have say over what we agreed to. I agree. But the town is growing, and if you think it's not growing or not a busy town, be here starting around 6 o'clock in the morning, up to about 9:30, 10 o'clock, look at the track, then it stays, it's all day long. And, then come in here in the afternoon, around about 4 o'clock. Busy as well. I have no objections to a comprehensive plan, except for the fact when it comes to some of the zoning, like Logan has. Logan has some, and that was pointed out. Logan is doing very well. I applaud them. Kudos to them. And, they do have, they have plans for the future. Yes. Some of it, a little expensive, but as you pointed out, they have considerable more income than our town. I mean, I'm open to anything. And I'm sure most every council member here is as well. Anything that will benefit the residents of this town in the future. I think that's our responsibility.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. Need to go to the bathroom, or you want to say something?
Well, that's all, I said that's normal. That asked me before, but during the break, as you know, Mr. Mayor, that Logan has received more benefits than what they spent on their comprehensive plan.
Yes.
But also Ben was in the gathering of data stage. Even in the comprehensive plan, you don't have to make zoning, you don't have to, that doesn't have to be.
And that's
part of it.
that's what I was pointing out. We can choose what we
But
want.
you can pick and choose, but it was the thing that surprised me. I'm an accountant. I see things on a straight line. Well, this isn't a straight line kind of endeavor. This is you basically get it out there, get people in. What do you think we could, what we need? And you adopt your plans to the needs of those who are going to be putting in motion the plans.
Mhm.
And again, you could, and zoning it was initially what started Logan down the path. But that's not even the major part of it any longer. It's the other parts, because now the companies that are looking in an area want to know when they invest their money, they're going to get their money out of that investment.
Sure.
And how do you do that with the infrastructure? What else is going in around? I may have been a willy-nilly, didn't think it would work, and it is. What my suggestion for us here in Chapmanville? Start the process and find out how much it actually is. If we want to do it, and then start budgeting for it. But again, the process is not just, we're gonna have zoning, or we're gonna do this. It took a year. Even with the money that Logan spent, it took a year. Because it just takes time to do what the lady from Cincinnati did. She took the data that was gathered, developed a super plan. And I think Logan's plan is one of the best in the state, better than some of the bigger cities, because they adjusted it to us in Logan County. It's not one size fits all.
Correct.
And we are different than Logan, but we're the same.
Mhm.
Let's adopt something for us. And we have land.
And that's the point I'm making.
We have land that Logan doesn't have.
That works for land that is vacant land, but as far as to bring you in Hidden Valley into our town, it's gonna cost you almost 20% more on your taxes to come into our town.
We have to sell it to me in Hidden Valley. What services are you going to provide me?
That you're not
I know
already
exactly
getting.
what to
Sewage.
provide Hidden Valley is sewage.
Yeah.
And eventually it's gonna come down to it, somebody's gonna take it over. I mean,
Oh, it's coming.
It is very-
It's
yes.
coming soon.
PSD.
Now, the commission don't even want to take that one on because of the expense. It'll be the state. has
but
to
look what we would gain.
It would, but we can't afford to do that.
You don't have to do that through a comprehensive plan, just basically, hey, I'm gonna have a meeting, and I said, I don't want, we can't run a plan any longer. How possible?
But you could have always put that in the comprehensive plan that we wish to grow farther south down 119 to encompass certain neighborhoods and start working our way towards that.
And part of that would be how do you fund the expansion?
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. But again, it's not just Hidden Valley, there are other areas. They said we can go out where Logan's constricted.
Right.
Right.
We have areas to expand to pick up properties easily,
Mhm.
where Logan doesn't.
I mean, they could.
The future I see is,
It's okay, Harry, he'll get to you eventually.
Godby Branch, FICO,
Mhm.
you know,
Very much so.
right, Hidden Valley. I see those, Airport Road, future. Now, can we afford it right now? That's tough. Because of the amenities that we would rightfully have to provide those. I mean, Steve can just go so far right now when it comes to plowing roads, things of that nature.
Excuse me.
Along with the growth of the town, we'd have growth of the, and we'd have to have more employees. Yeah.
But again, that's sort of saying, yeah, I'm gonna pay more property taxes.
Yeah.
I will pay more sales taxes to things delivered in Hidden Valley, which will grow our home rule. But the amenity, again, my concern, where I live, most of the people, if it's flush, they don't care.
One day it ain't gonna flush.
Okay, because I know what's coming, and I'm smart enough to know. And that has to happen, whether, I don't care who, it's gotta happen. But the home rule, but the comprehensive plan also has to happen. It's just a matter of how much and when when you want to start the process. And if we know the number, let's bring it up before we get into a budget.
That would be good.
I'll
Harry,
let
you
you
have
know.
something?
Mhm.
I was just gonna say that I know that they tried to do a zoning plan 40 years ago in the late 80s. So, and I don't know exactly what happened or came about. I know there's some people that were trying to work on something of dealing with it, but it really ran into a stone wall.
Mhm.
But also Logan, I know they can't grow in some ways like we can, but I know that there were some businesses looking to come into Logan in the early 50s, and the only way into Logan was Dead Man's Curve back in those days. Logan had to build bypass around Logan, you know, that went through there so that people could get by there and then they wanted to get into the bad turns in the little narrow streets of Logan. So,
I've heard stories.
but until that bypass along, went through there, businesses came in, they looked at that, they looked at the upper end of Logan and that curve there and says, I can't get my tractor trailers through here. Nope, I'm not even coming here. So they had to make some major decisions and built the road around. Mentioned, I think we need to have something, make our roads through town faster and easier.
We already have a
One way
bypass,
is-
on my team
but
goes right over,
something's,
goes right over.
something's in there that's, I don't know how that would work in a comprehensive plan, but, I don't know about the zoning. Like I said, they run into obstacles, but you gotta have the traffic flowing for one thing. Not have again, problems like they got at Crossroads at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's where they put everybody's school right beside each
I know.
I think we might be discussing, certain items that we're wanting to put in,
But we
These
gotta
plans,
start,
but
we gotta start.
we gotta start
planning.
planning before we
Look
start
for
saying
first.
this is what we want,
Like
because if we don't do
Logan
that,
did
we're gonna get ahead of ourselves.
And that was the idea of having the whiteboard or
All right.
something for people to make suggestions about what they want. They left it up there, how many days they leave it up there?
It was a while.
It's a long time. You
It was a
know,
while.
it was given residents, and even, it didn't have to be a resident. You just come in there and put something down on the board. All right, so then comprehensive plan is open again?
I think it should be. I like where Ben's going with it. I mean, just like you said, if we do not grow, we don't have a future, and we are here to plan for the future for our future kids.
Agreed.
So that we still grow and become a, you know, Logan might be a bigger, like they're a city, we're a town. Our population is, we're busting out the seams.
Jeff, if we asked you to, could you see what you could find in our budget for next year to see what kind of costs we could shoulder for a comprehensive
I
plan?
think it needs to be more of what's out there, and then we
By the
figure out
first.
how much it's gonna cost, then we
Yeah.
see where the money's coming from.
What's available.
So
It's
try
not
that
like
again.
buying, it's not like buying a car. You don't walk on the lot and say, I can afford $30,000. You don't do it that way.
Yeah, I need to know
$30,000,
what it
where you
is.
buy the car?
Okay, you get the idea. I'm buying a Kia off of. There you go.
And I know the number that we talked is 50 grand. Can I find a way to pay for 50 grand
Oh,
out
yeah.
of our existing fund? The answer is yes.
No problem.
But I need to, I'm not gonna put that in the budget and say, hey, I got 50 grand for what we wanna do.
Right.
No, I wanna have a plan to bring somebody in to spend the 50 grand.
But it's that much over time. It's not just 1 year.
It's not
right?
one, it'll be 12 months.
Oh,
You
okay.
you pay it up front, but then you
No,
try to
no,
follow that
It's
plan.
progress building.
Right. So it's not just here's a plan for 1 year, it's here's a plan for the next 5 years, here's a plan for the next 10 years, and we hopefully try to
Mhm.
keep on with that throughout the whole time. But I know that we had the discussions with the people before, and the only reason that they put zoning into these discussions was that we brought it up. I mean, it was brought up by the council as we want to look at maybe zoning things. So they'll put in at what we asked for.
Correct.
But we got to be careful about what we ask for and whether we want to keep doing it.
That's why
So when we
need-
make these decisions,
We need input from the community.
You can't zone because you're zoning.
right,
The zoning, if we do zone, it has to be practical and have a reason behind it.
right.
I just don't want, not having mobile homes in the city limits, okay, I'm okay with that. The city of Logan doesn't allow for that. I'm okay with that, because it does devalue everything else around but again, the zoning didn't spring, wasn't the number.
No,
It's what came from it, where if I invest in a commercial enterprise in the commercial zone, I want to make sure that's still commercial. That's okay.
Right.
If it's commercial now, you want it to be commercial later.
and that's if we decide we want to do that.
If we
I
want to
know
do that.
I know that the council has been discussing zoning a whole lot, and we've said that the city doesn't really need it. If we don't want it in there, it's not in there. But we could put in expansion, we can put in walking trails, we can put all kinds of stuff in there. But they'll put in it what we ask them to put in it.
And the ability to get grants, and that's one of the things George is always looking at,
Mhm.
is you have to have a plan that has taken all the sides, draft something, and there are grants and funding available once you have a viable plan. You gotta have a viable plan.
They're not gonna give us a grant if we don't have a plan first.
Mhm.
Plan comes first.
Right.
And then you pick and choose what you want to do. Part of that, I agree with Harry, we have to make it, give me something. And this is our business, and people can get to it and take the time they want, but other people still want to get through. How do we do that? And again, we can't ask the DOH to do it because we're nice, but we have a plan that we have a grant set here. Do this, and it would help the city, the town of Jackson. So again, let's find out what the cost is. I'm looking at Ben, he's gonna go, yeah, I'll call him tomorrow. I already know Ben's. When you say what number, Ben will call him tomorrow.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that since George and Ben have been the the point men on this for the whole time, that they start reaching out to anybody that they have known or any of the contacts they've had and see if anybody wants to start attending the meetings, and
Let's ask, Ben and George if
if they want to.
If they want to.
Oh, yes, I don't mind being front runner.
You and George?
I will second. Bill's motion.
All right, we have, and the two individuals asked have agreed. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Rookie second.
Oh, Harry second.
Rookie. I got it right on the paper.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
much time to say anything.
Listen, I come from a family of a lot of men, and we got to pick up first.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimous. Moving new business. I see my name down there. What did I have?
I don't think you had anything. I think that's left over.
One-
The last
one
one
thing-
didn't get deleted.
I think you're
One thing
supposed
I
to,
had was the
you're supposed to do
panhandle.
number 8.
That wasn't in here. Beg your pardon?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Did we have anything further on the panhandling? I hadn't made anything for it yet. And
No, I didn't have anything. I
Rob?
was asking for some ideas. Rob?
I'll
the
get us
last
some
meeting.
ideas.
Pardon?
I'll get us some ideas.
we'll have you something next time for it.
I know that you're getting into certain rights that people have.
Right.
And you're getting into what goes on maybe on a private business and things like that, but I just don't want to see people standing at the, on the street holding sign, you know?
Agree.
I don't want to see that. I've already had to put a stop to it a couple of times. Yeah. I feel for them. I'll help them out if it's all possible, if they'll accept the help under the conditions that the help comes. But, no.
Agree.
All right, then moving to Mr. Williamson once again, first aid kits.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you all probably remember, we had talked about first aid kits for all our vehicles before. I had spoke with Alan and Steve. We've got about 10 vehicles total. 6 are the police and 4 are the street department that they regularly use. They're in fairly often. Of course, the police first aid kits are going to have an entirely different need than what the street departments will, hopefully. Due to some recommendations from some veterans friends that I have, as well as some other people I know in law enforcement, I was looking at My Medic. They have very highly recommended first aid kits, and they are extremely well organized. As you can see on the first one, that is a standard first aid kit. The things that are kind of ghost colored, you can't really see, those are not included in it. If you turn to the next page, those are all of a sudden not ghost colored. Those are included in the Pro, which of course is more expensive.
Double.
That is the cheapest full first aid kit that also contains trauma first aid, the Pro for these people. $329.95 unfortunately is, from what I have been seeing, a fairly decent price.
First aid kit?
For a trauma first aid kit. And the difference is that this one has a tourniquet, this one has a chest seal, this one has packing gauze. It's got quick clot in the case of a major bleed.
Mhm.
So in the event that they have a massive hemorrhage for some reason, probably metal flying through the air from something, they would be able to take care of that, at least get started taking care of it while they wait on the emergency services to get there and truly stabilize them.
Rob, would the Good Samaritan law apply? Or would they need to have some sort of first aid training?
And from what these are, I'm not saying that these would necessarily be used for people. They could
Somebody
be,
use them for our.
but this is for if they get shot or if
Yeah,
something happens to
I
them.
understand.
Right,
Treat themselves.
right. That's what these are for.
I think you just found a way to spend opioid money.
And I've got some calls out and emails to other people as well, looking for money to help offset this, because I know this is a lot. I've tried talking to them to get a bulk order discount. They won't talk to me back about it, but I have talked to Alan. He has a GovX ID. We can get 25% off just through that. So that'll bring it down to a more reasonable price. It's like $280 something after that. In addition to the cost of these, and the standard one I have over here, that was one I was looking at for the street department. But the good thing about both of these is they both have, included, I won't say free because we all know what that really means. They have included training on how to use everything. Because if you just take somebody and put a huge hole in their shoulder, I'm not gonna know what to do with it if I've not had the right training, and I've not had trauma training. I know I'm supposed to pack it with gauze because I've watched videos on YouTube, but how do I use an Israeli bandage? How do I use a tourniquet properly? I really don't know all that. How do I not lose my arm? So that's one of the things about this is it includes that training on how to use these items in the,
Question about, once items are used,
Mhm.
restocking it.
Mhm.
Your company as well.
You don't necessarily have to go through that company. I mean, they got Band-Aids and stuff in them. You could just buy new Band-Aids.
Mhm.
But,
Let's hope we don't have to ever use it.
but you know, if you use a, Right.
Exactly.
if you use a thing of quick clock gauze, yeah, replace it. If you use this, tourniquet, you probably need to replace it. And some of that might be through them.
You can, some of this you can't buy at your local farm.
No, definitely not. You can't buy some of this at the local pharmacy, but you can buy it online. There's other places to buy this stuff.
How about,
But one of the good things about it is also how it's organized, how it's so color coded. Each one of those colors stands for, okay, you got to bleed, so you reach for the red stuff.
any way of, like going through, 911 and
I reached out
services?
I reached out to Roger Bryant today and he put me in contact with, Homeland Security and they had me fill out an email for a grant. So they said if they had any money left over from 2024, they'd try to get it to us. But if they don't, then they'll get us on the list for next year.
So we have 4 cruisers, correct?
We have 4 cruisers that are regularly used and then 2 for the part-time. Is that right? We got 6
Six.
cruisers.
We have.
And then we have 2 that just kind of sit back in case something breaks.
Right, and
But
then how
the-
many vehicles, okay, so we're looking for 6 of them,
6 for the cops, 6 for the trauma kits, and then 4 regular first aid kits for the street department. Just 1 for each vehicle. And that way,
I think this is a need, I can't believe we don't already have them anyway.
We have, we have supplied them with some sort of first aid kits.
They're the same thing as radar, they're from.
Yeah, they're simple, they're simple.
They might disintegrate.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it
I'm
kind of
sorry.
has something that works.
I really couldn't hear you.
I said, the birthday kits we have are pieced together, like, I've got one that I took parts from 3 different ones when I
Right.
first started there.
Yeah.
He's gonna open the gauze and it's gonna be a dusty ball, just,
I understand. But we have, it's not like we haven't put first aid kits out there, where we have. Have we, inspected them lately or anything of that nature? Answer's no. So,
Like, it's like Harry said, it's better to have them to be safe than not.
Protection of our employees and officers.
and in addition, since we're spending so much money on these first aid kits to try to have something nice that everybody can use, I would probably look at making a policy at the next meeting or so about the, accident form. So anytime that something would be used out of this, an accident form would be filled out, given to the main office. Now, it doesn't have to be super detailed, just something saying, hey, I used this, there was an accident today.
need to get,
Needs to be
resupply.
documented.
Right.
I make the motion that we get into these and get these in our vehicles.
Are you making the motion to purchase these particular ones?
Yes,
As so stated, now there's 2 different types here.
correct. Well, the
Six.
deluxe for the police and the, yes,
Okay,
I'll make that second motion.
all right.
Which funds are you purchasing them out of?
what Jeff
I
said.
mean, if we can use the opioid money for
I
it,
don't see a reason why not, because again, how many times are you actually dealing with people?
Right.
that are-
And the opioid money is designed, or is stipulated, you
I
can't
just
spend
think
it for
this is
this.
a no-brainer.
Right.
That you can spend, so do it.
Right,
Yep,
you have any problem with that, Mr. Mayor?
I just said, yeah.
Okay, make sure. I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I was pointing out that this is one of the things we can spend this much. Excuse me. And, when it comes to the safety of our,
And I think that Jeff
Employees
White
are-
would be able to assist us with that, with some of the things too.
and there are some grants out there. I know Roger, you talked about Roger.
Very beneficial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rookie Craddock first, George Cook second,
Now, any further discussion on this? Okay.
6 pros and 4 standards.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
In addition to that,
Okay.
real quick, it doesn't have to change the purchase. There is a number of colors we can get them in. I personally prefer red for first aid kits, but we can get orange, just putting that out there. I prefer red because that's what people look for. If you say, hey, there's a first aid kit, people are gonna go look for something red.
Red.
Right. So if anybody wants an orange one, they can make a motion, but I prefer red.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay.
Yes. I was getting ready to say that. Was that you, Harry, that wanted to come up with this? Yeah.
First aid kits took care of.
Now, moving to the next item, chapter 5 updates.
Chapter 5 updates. During our last round of updates, what was it, chapter 6 was health and sanitation? I think it was chapter 6, but we'll pretend it was anyway. There was an article about nuisance properties. You all said that you wanted to move it to chapter 5 and remove it from the chapter that it was in. That is what this is. So we have an update to chapter 5 to include article 7, nuisances in boarding houses, hotels, etc., restaurants. That's all that is. I hadn't changed any of the language, so we can look at it over the course of the next month, and at the next meeting, if we got any additional changes we want to make to anything, we can throw her in there. So, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we read it by title only.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'm gonna need more.
Any further discussion?
Any what?
I'm gonna need more. That's all in my January stuff. I
All right, I'll
didn't
let you
have
get
the
it.
fire stuff either, so,
I got you.
or safety stuff.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
I second. Any further discussion?
Chapter 5, title only.
Right. It's okay.
You already read it?
I'm up.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
Now, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we pass on the first reading, updates to chapter 5, building ordinance.
Have a motion to pass. First reading.
I second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You ready now for the town properties?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss town properties and leases, and we'll show off the lease policies while we're in there so you all can see what the differences are.
Make a motion, go in second.
I made the motion, you second?
Second, yeah.
All those in favor? Executive session?
Any opposed?
Now, let's go. We're almost out of here.
9 o'clock.
Here's the, she was real good.
Get legal word on.
Everybody's back.
I'll make a motion to come back in session.
Second the motion.
Motion's been made to come back in session, been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
No motions were made, no decisions were made in executive session, only discussion.
All right. Set into the next meeting will be February the 11th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to set the meeting date on 2/11, what? Yeah, it is. Yeah, 2/11/25 and adjourn.
All those in favor of meeting on the 11th?
And adjourn.
Aye.
Being no further business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
That was in the.
I did adjourn as well.
I know. Begun. All right. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Everybody's in favor. Amen.